Welcome into Lock and Live for NFL Week 18 with Uncle Phil. Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning for the last show of the year. Uncle Phil, what is going on?
Hey, man, I'm excited about today. This is a fun day. It's Week 18, and it's tricky. It's a tricky day, so that'll be kind of fun. I think you guys really. Typically, I don't like this week at all because this is a weird day because teams are resting. A lot of teams are resting players and people just don't know what you're going to do. And it's like a preseason game. However, since only the 1 seed and the 7 seed in the NFC are settled and none of the AFC teams are actually settled, then I think you have some opportunity this week. So I think that's a completely different deal this week. I think there's some opportunity, but again, I think you have to navigate some things, and I think it's going to be kind of a fun. It'll be a fun day.
Fun day. So it's safe to say you're feeling pretty good about this week. I saw your notebook. A lot of action in there. So
yeah, I do. I've got 8 straight plays. I've got 4 teasers, and of course that includes tonight's game as well. So I think this is going to be kind of like I said, I think it'll be kind of a fun day. Like I said, I typically dread this day. Last year, Week 18 was a complete disaster for me because it's like a preseason deal. And this week I had planned on scaling it back a lot just to make sure that the games we played, we were 100% sure about and won. But again, just because, out of the 14 seeds, there's only 2 actual seeds that are actually in for today. So I know there's a lot of time. There's a lot of teams left that got something to play for, which is meaningful because you have to be careful of that today.
All righty, we got first comment of the day. MP says, "Big day. Let's get it." Uncle Phil, Where are we heading first?
Yeah, absolutely. MP, let's get it. The first place we're headed to Cincinnati, where Cleveland's coming to visit. Look, Cleveland is resting players. They are missing 3 people on their offensive line. They're also resting their all-star tight end, Noah Fannin. It's just Cleveland's a different team on the road. Not that they've been great at home lately as well, but their Super Bowl was last week against Pittsburgh. This game doesn't mean as much to them. However, Joe Burrow has covered every single time since he's come back. So I expect Cincinnati to cover the 7.5. That's what I'm taking. First best bet is Cincinnati minus 7.5. My next best bet is I'm going to Minnesota. Green Bay is coming in to Green Bay is coming in to visit today. Green Bay is resting a lot of people. They're resting even though their first and second string quarterbacks are healthy. They're playing Clayton Tune today. I don't know if you remember last year, even when they played Jordan Love in Week 18, they just didn't show up that much. They were just kind of a disaster. I expect kind of the same effort today. I expect that Minnesota walks away with this one. I will take Minnesota minus 10.5. And if you like it, I may even go under Green Bay's team total for the game as well. I think it's like around like 12.5 or something like that. I just don't expect Green Bay to score much. This should be a cakewalk.
Alrighty, good stuff. Yeah. Let's get to some questions. We got a lot of people all over these games. First on line, we got MP says, "Looks like the Bengals line's up to 10 now. Unc, would you still take that?"
I would. I mean, that's massive move for this late, but I mean, that's to be expected. Week 18. Again, I think Cincinnati walks away with this one. I mean, literally, Bengals were. I made this notebook out 30 minutes ago. That's what I'm playing, and it just kind of shows me. I think we're on the right side on that one. 10 shouldn't be too much. I think Cleveland is just. I think Cleveland's walking away from the season. They've already now. I mean, they already kind of let it slip that they're probably going to move on from Stefanski. Can't imagine he's too motivated as well. They're on the road. It's just get this done, get back on the plane, get on back on the Cleveland. We'll sort things out when we get home.
Alrighty, and it looks like the Sam happened in the Minnesota game. I think the line's moving in your direction. That one's up to 12.5.
Yeah, again, just don't see Minnesota doing a whole lot today. I think this one is a walk away, and I think that that Minnesota, I just don't think Clayton Tune does much. I mean, he just really wasn't impressive at all last week, and I think they're very limited. I'd be surprised if they actually hit if they actually score at all today.
Okay, so take Minnesota up to 12.5, and that's fair.
Yeah, good. 100%.
Okay. All right, well, it's always usually good when the line's moving in your direction. Let's keep it rolling. We got Grant Croner. Thoughts on Saints versus Falcons?
Saints versus Falcons. I've got that one in the notebook. At least the total, I feel really good about. On the, I think it was, about 4 or 5 weeks ago when they actually played each other down in New Orleans. The Falcons really dominated that game. This is a huge rivalry game. I know people are like, hey, I'm going to lay off the Falcons today because they, had a big emotional Monday night win. But if there's any team in the NFL the Falcons are going to get up for, it's going to be the Saints. This is just a really underrated rivalry. Both these teams do not like each other. The fan base don't like it. It's really kind of a big deal. So I like the Falcons this game. I know it's 3.5, but if the Falcons defense, especially at defensive line, pass rush shows up like it did this past week against the Rams, I think that this is going to be a tough day for the Saints. I like the Falcons in this one. I look for Bijan to have a big day. I think that he is. There's some yardage marks that he's close to that are a big deal for him. So again, look at that. The other thing that I think you should look at today is look at player props in games that don't mean anything and games that do mean anything. I'd be careful of. Like yesterday, there were some player props with like Sam Darnold last night and Rico Dowdle, which I tried to capitalize in the notebook. They didn't come through on those, but it's because teams aren't worried about those in games that matter. They're worried about those in games that don't matter. So pick some games that don't matter as much and go after those there. But like in that game, I like the Falcons. 3.5 is a little much. I'd like it better at 3, but I still think they cover that and get that done. But like I said, I took the total in this one. I like that. That's in the notebook.
Okay, hey, Grant, thanks for the question. Uncle Phil, while you were talking about that game, I got a report from Adam Schefter that Kirk Cousins woke up ill today, but will play. I don't know if that has any effect. I don't know what his illness is, but probably assume flu.
I would assume since that's been going around, right? I've had flu twice in the past month, so I mean, it's just kind of going around everywhere. But Kirk Cousins has a lot of motivation because he's shown over the past month or so since Penix has been out that he's really playing hard, that he really is trying to get another chance at being a starting quarterback. I expect him to try to do that, but I'd expect him to lean on Bijan a lot today. So that'd be my guess. But I still think Kirk goes out, and I mean, he's a pro, right? Been in the league for years. I expect him to show out today. But thank you for the update.
Yep, no worries. Hey, Grant, thanks for the question there. Let's keep going. We got first TikTok question of the day. We got lock of the year. He says, "Can the Colts win?" I assume he's thinking outright.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good question. Look, if he would have asked me that about 3 hours ago, I would have said no. He's crazy. Obviously they're starting a lot. Riley Leonard today. I don't think that is a big one today or a huge deal. I don't think that's a big needle mover for the Colts. However, it's come out that Houston may be resting some people today. Nico Collins is a healthy scratch for Houston. Don't be surprised if they end up pulling some players after the first quarter or first half, and it's Woody Marks. If they do that, that game completely changes on a dime. As a matter of fact, I didn't have Houston in my picks, but I had them in my initially in my teaser. I'd teased them down to -4, but I didn't trust that at this point because, again, I think guy on TikTok is really sharp. I mean, I don't know if he's an Indy fan or if he's just guy who's just watching all these. But again, it's a big deal right now to figure out which teams are resting people. Houston looks like they may be resting some people today. So it's a game that I would personally stay away from. I have, if you want to look at Indy +10 or something like that, I also look at you guys I encourage you guys to also look at games that that you may see some teams that are that look at week 18 is another way to play first half. Because teams may play some people. If teams that are like, hey, they're only going to play their stars for a half, then play first halves. Just don't get involved for the full game because, again, they're like preseason games this week. Be really careful about that. So that'd be my advice today. But like I said, I think that's a really good call by the guy on TikTok.
All right, play of the year. Good question. Appreciate it. Let's take another TikTok question. We got Billy Hayward. He wants to know about Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I think that's obviously the game of the day. Uncle Phil.
Yeah, look, I love this game. Obviously it's in my notebook tonight. I didn't choose the side. I chose the total in this, and I did put it in a teaser. I think that the question is it's at 3.5 now, and which would essentially mean that Baltimore's favored 6.5 in neutral and 9.5 on the road. So for me, I think that that's a lot of points, especially with Pittsburgh. But I think Pittsburgh last week, I don't know how you can bet on Pittsburgh just because they didn't do anything against Cleveland last week. And I don't know. So I mean, it's kind of an odd deal. Lamar's playing. Will he be back to himself? It's just kind of an odd situation. 3.5 though, I'd probably lean toward Pittsburgh +3.5 just because you're getting the hook. But do you really trust Pittsburgh without DK? I don't know. I mean, obviously TJ's back and he's ready to play tonight, but that's going to be a weird game. It should be a really fun game. It's a great way to end in the night or in the season, week 18. But it's kind of my thoughts on that. Like I said, I really like the total. That's in the notebook. But on the side, I could probably see that going either way.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, Billy, thanks for the question there. Let's keep going. We got MD on X. He says, do you like the Cowboys today, Unc?
That's a great question. I probably do. I didn't play that. I know it means something to Dallas. They want to be at 500 and they want to be 8-1, finish the season that way. It's a big deal to Dak. He's come out and said that this week. However, and I think they can. So that being said, the Giants have put Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not playing today. So I think that's a big deal for people that don't follow the Giants. I mean, he's kind of the go-to guy on the receiver. He's probably about all they got left. So with him not playing today, I think it's a big deal. I'd lean Cowboys there. But again, those are all games I get burned on teams that where games don't mean anything to anybody. But we'll see. If you've got if you feel strongly about it and you're a diehard Cowboys fan and you're like, hey, I know I've been watching this team, been reading every article this week. I know they're fired up. I know the Giants are not, and again, this is Kafka's already been told he's not getting the job. He already knows that. This team's cashing it in. They won stupidly last week against the Raiders. I don't know. I'm sure that somebody got a talking to for beating the Raiders like that last week, because you had a chance to get the number 1 pick and you just blew that again for the second straight year. So I would go with I'd lean toward Dallas, but again, not one of my favorite plays.
All right, MD, thanks for the question. Next up, let's go to John. John, good to see you, brother. He says, Happy New Year. Quick question. Is your third best bet in the notebook your strongest play of the day? Stay hot. Let's roll.
It is. It is. I like that one a lot. And I'm a big fan of that one. So 100%.
Okay. And do you have any idea of what those, third circled bet, the bonus pick, has done on the year from a record standpoint?
Yeah. I was in college football. I was 11-3, and in NFL on bonus picks so far this year. We're in week 18. I am so far. I'm 11-6. So not as good as college, but still well above what you'd want to be for having a winning record.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, John, thanks for buying the notebook and best of luck today. Let's keep it going. We got Corky with the Chiefs logo. Good to see you, man. He says, Can Chiefs get it done at 4.5?
I'd be careful. A lot of the sharps that I know are leaning toward the Raiders today. You'll have to see. Let me look at something real quick, because I think I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure I'm telling you correctly. The Giants are playing the Cowboys today. If the Giants win in the early game, the Raiders are playing in the late game. If the Giants win, then the Raiders are guaranteed that no matter if they win or lose, that they are they get the number 1 pick. So there's no harm in them winning. However, if the Giants lose, you may look at that and go and pull off that one. But I do know that Pete Carroll has been told that he's one and done this year, so he's out. So I know he wants to win today. It's his last NFL game he's ever going to coach. So I would almost lean toward the Raiders to cover that. But again, I would again, not a game that I just love today. It's a game that I might have played in the past that I'm playing today, because I think I'd get burned.
Most definitely. Yeah, it's great advice. Wait till that early window closes before you make a decision there. I think that's great. Let's go to another TikTok question. And by the way, hey, thanks, Corky. We got Warren Martin. Who do you have for anytime touchdown today?
Anytime touchdown. Drake May's got to. He needs to solidify his MVP today. So I'd look at. I'd look at him throwing a touchdown pass today. Look for him to try to throw at least 2 touchdown passes today against the Dolphins. The Dolphins without Achane, so I expect their offense to bog down a little bit. But how long will they play? I don't know. But I expect Drake May to come out firing. His favorite target is Hunter Henry. I would take Hunter Henry for an anytime touchdown today.
Hunter Henry, an anytime touchdown. Hey, there you go, Warren. There's the lock of the day for an anytime. Let's keep going. Man, we got tons of questions today. Austin Cavanis II. He says, Uncle, can the Bills cover?
They can. It's will they. Look, no secret that Josh Allen, he likes to be kind of like Cal Ripken. He wants to have that starting, never missing a game continually starting a game. So he'll put him in just like he did last year, Sean McDermott. I expect Josh Allen to go in literally for one play, pull him out, and then Mitch Trubisky be in the rest of the time. I think that look, it's Aaron Glenn has been told he's been safe for next year, so he's actually going to. So he doesn't. There's no pressure for him to win today. It's really more pressure for him to get the draft pick, which they've been doing. Been losing pretty handily lately. So I think even with Trubisky in, I think he's a very serviceable backup. I think that he comes in, probably wins. I think the Bills get it done today.
That's a great question, and thanks for your take on that, Uncle Phil. And, it generated a question in my head. I know player props, it's if a player plays, right, then whatever the yard total is, it has to be honored. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is you're looking at for Josh Allen, if you're like, hey, he might just come in for one series or one snap?
It's a great point, Matt. I mean, look, whatever his total is today, I'd go under that. If he's playing, then if he's actually got some player props out there, he's not running, he's not throwing much, he's certainly not, he's going to play for one play and come out.
All righty. Good stuff.
Great idea.
All right, we got a couple more. Everyone wants to know about props today. Must be the day of the props.
It is. I mean, it's like, hey, you got to do that. Is there a specific prop question or what?
Yeah, exactly. So we got Tony wants to know about JJ McCarthy props. I see you have the Vikings cover the spread. Do you think they're going to air it out for JJ today, giving him confidence going into next year?
Yeah, I do. I think that, I think he'll sling it today. I think, Kevin O'Connell want to end the day high. It's at home. It's at Minnesota. Let's give some of the fans, let's have some optimism to sell some tickets for next year. Not that the Vikings need any help. It's got a great crowd there, but why not? Let's let JJ, he's been improving, every time. Again, it's very much like, similar, not as dramatic and not as good yet, but you could see the difference. Jordan Love was just completely hot garbage through the first 8 weeks of his starts. And then week 9 on the road against the Steelers, Jordan Love came out and all of a sudden the light came on. And he just progressed ever since then and was this amazing quarterback. And everybody, including myself, who'd said this guy is not any good, he's trash, I'd eat a bunch of crow by the end of the year because Jordan Love light came on. Same thing with happened to J.J. McCarthy in the past 4 weeks. J.J. McCarthy has quietly done better and better, and has done well. Look, I think he's got a lot to prove. It came out this week, though, that Kevin O'Connell will look for a veteran to come in and, provide a little bit more of a challenge for JJ in the offseason. So I'm sure he wants to put some more good film on tape. I expect him to throw the ball, and I expect him to throw it well.
Already good stuff. Hey, Tony, thanks for the question there.
Yep.
All right, looks like we're about an hour from kickoff. Uncle Phil, this is week 18. It's been a great season. Any final thoughts before we take off?
Yeah, guys, hey, this is our last Lock and Live of the year. Just really appreciate you guys tuning in. We always have, 2,000 to 3,000 you guys tune in every Sunday morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in, even on a week 18. And you always show up and have the greatest questions. I appreciate, you guys certainly are the best part of this community, and I appreciate you guys showing up. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys as always, guys. Let's have a day. And for week 18, one last time this NFL year, let's roll.